This video is for the footing and foundation, grade 12 house assignment. So if we look at our PDF, it does mention layers. Now, for this particular project overall, layers are suggested, they're not mandatory. The marking scheme will not penalize you in any way, shape, or form if you don't include layers in any of the parts for the house. But I would encourage you to use layers for, if you decide you don't want to use layers, I would encourage you to use layers for just this one assignment, okay? Because we're going to have to come back and put stairs into the basement, and being able to turn the layer off for these walls or the entire basement would be really handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start out, and since we are using the online version, we're going to use tags, aka layers, and we'll just go tag 1. If you want to give it a particular name, by all means, that's your prerogative. Okay, so we have a tag, and let's just, okay. Now let's go over here, and it gives us our texture. Dimensions are required. If you do not include them, you will lose a mark. And as always, the marking scheme is going to be out of 12. So our overall height is going to be 1 inch per usual. And if we scroll down, our inset is 6 inches. It's worth mentioning that it's not included in this PDF file, but it is included in the EDSB post for this assignment, that this wall thickness is 7 5/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here first, and we're going to look at our overall dimensions to start with. So let's just look at this. So length is 47 3 1/4 by 27 3 1/4. So let's start with that. So 27 feet, space 3 1/4 inches, comma, space 47 feet, space 3 1/4 of an inch. Enter. Just double check that, and we've got our correct. Yes, we do, and we do. Now in the PDF file, it gives this footing inset. So I'm going to just ask you to disregard that in this particular video. We're just going to worry about the 6 inch inset of that footing for this particular assignment. Makes things a little bit easier. So let's first go with our 1 foot. Push pull 1 foot. Okay, let's use our offset and get our 6 inch. 6 inch. And let's see. Okay. Now right here, this is an important dimension. These walls are 10 feet tall. So that's going to give us our next, well, one of our next. We're going to have to further offset. And we're going to go, oops. Got trigger happy on that. Okay, so this is where we're going to use that dimension I mentioned. 7 5/8 of an inch, and that's our offset for our wall thickness. Okay, let's just get in there, and that's going to be pushed up 10 feet. Okay, now we have the overall dimensions of the basement, and all windows. Okay, if we go up here, it's really important. Take a look, there is an extra window here, okay? And all these windows are inset 6 feet. That's the big dimension, okay? So it's shown here, and it's shown to be typical. So that's 2 feet down, 3 feet over, so 6 feet. So according to our large picture, we're going to do 2 here and 1 over there, okay? So you can do, let's just double check that. Make sure we're going from the correct location, and that's from that wall, not the outside, okay? So let's just go from here We're going to mark off 6 feet. And right there. Okay. And this is going to be 3 feet. Let's use that tape measure once again. And let's go type in our 3 foot. Create another mark. Okay. And it's going to go 2 feet down. And we'll push this down. One of SketchUp's shortcomings in this new version, it tends to grab our tools. Okay, so there's our first window. You can leave that scribe, it's up to you, it's not a big deal. It's not going to cause a mark loss, which tends to be a concern. So let's go 6 foot. We go 2, 3, 2. That's going to be our pattern. Once again, I accidentally grabbed that. Okay, let's go 3 and push that down 2 feet. So I'm going to create the dimensions just for that one. Definitely dimensions, if something is repetitive, especially if something's typical, you're definitely not going to have to show that over and over again, okay? So there we have our 6 foot. There we have our 3 foot, our 2, and I would include our elusive 7 5/8. Okay, now everything else is good. Okay, so let's go over here, and I'm going to go 6 foot. I'm going to throw 6 foot over here too. This window here tends to be the one that's forgotten. And we'll go 3. Now, at this point, you can just touch that, and that'll be like your guide. You don't need to type in that 2 feet down. If you want to, by all means, feel free to do so. Okay, let's go 3 feet. Okay, gonna have to make that other line. Once again, bring it down and just feel free to touch whatever one is already existing. Okay. Let's make our mark. And 3 feet. Okay, and there we are. We're going to go down 3. Okay. So let's look at our... So we've got all the attributes finished. The only thing left to do is we're going to have to get our texture, which is asphalt and concrete. This one here. The concrete form 4x8 is the one we're going to use, because it actually is a poured basement. If you forget a tiny little spot, don't worry, that's not going to be a mark loss. Okay. Okay. So all our texture is on there. Now we just have to throw on all our dimensions. Try just to get the ones that are included, especially the overall lengths and the widths. That's kind of important. You can disregard that 6-inch lip measurement if you like, mainly because you're going to have to add a line to do that. One of the little idiosyncrasies of SketchUp. If you want to add a line, by all means, feel free to do so. Okay. Okay. And that should pretty much cover the house foundation assignment for the grade 12 house.